Hi everyone, this is Shelly. I'm making another installment of my series called Educating Your Children in Wartime. It's been a little while, had a busy schedule, and it's taken a while for me to kind of regroup and get back to you because we are in wartime, are we not? And things are crazy. Now, if this is the first time you've jumped on to these videos, I actually want to encourage you to watch my first one called Homeschooling Simply, because I'm making these videos because my message is we are at war, and I plead with you, if your children are in the public schools, I plead with you to get them out. Just get them out, take them out. I mean, you have to know without a shadow of a doubt that your public school has not been infiltrated with critical race theory, which probably isn't called critical race theory, diversity, inclusion, and what is it, social and emotional, something or other. They never give it the name critical race theory. They always give it something else. But bottom line, if you're hearing things about white privilege, if you're hearing words like systemic racism and any form of that, I can tell you right now, that classroom has got critical race theory in it, and they are forming your children to be divisive, and frankly, they're forming them in communism. So get them out. Just get them out. And then you go, well, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to homeschool them. Well, here we are. Watch my first video because it's not that complicated. So in my first video, I said that you need 3 things to educate your children well. You need reading, writing, and arithmetic. And today, I'm going to share with you about writing. Now, if you are like me, when I went to school, this is my notes, by the way, that's why you see these coming up. If you are like me and your experience of school and writing is... I felt a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety because I was never confident. I wasn't sure whether I was writing well, how I was doing. And I know I had friends who were like, I just can't write, and then it's just easier. But I wanted to write. I eventually, went off to college. I had to write. I must have done well enough because I did decently in school. I didn't fail. But I never really felt secure. And frankly, it wasn't until I homeschooled my own kids that the mystery of writing was eliminated, and it's actually quite systematic. And I can't go into all of that right now, but what I want to do is help you understand writing. Now, writing is really important. It's important to be able to write well, to be able to express yourself well in writing. And we can begin teaching writing even at the preschool, kindergarten, first grade level. Now, I just want to tell you right now, relax. If you hear the word writing, you're like, oh no, I'm not a good writer. I can never teach writing. I don't know how to do it. Blah, blah, blah. Just relax. Whew, take a big breath. It's going to be okay. It's not that hard. I'm going to make it easy for you. Okay? Super easy. Okay. So, I'm going to help you. This is really simple. I'm going to make it really concrete for you. And you're going to find, as you learn these things and teach your kids, you're going to apply them to yourself, and you're going to turn into a good writer yourself if you've already, if you're living under that disqualification. So the thing about writing is it's an expression of organized thoughts. Okay, so you can begin teaching writing without the actual physical writing, because you want to start with helping your child have organized thoughts. And so that's where you can start with a preschooler or with a kindergartner, first grade up. You begin with helping him or her have organized thoughts. Simple. And it's fun. They have fun with it. So, what I want to recommend is a method that we've actually used in the co-op that I'm part of. It's called power writing. We have children in our preschool and first and second grade that do, or kindergarten, first grade, that do in their classes, they do power writing. Now, they're not actually physically writing because most of them don't even yet know how to do that. Some of them are still learning to read. They're still mastering their letters, their alphabet. So they're not there, but their thoughts are being organized. And so, as they're learning things, so like in a co-op class that we have in our co-op, it's called Community Helpers. And they learned about various types of people in the community that help the community. And so they do power writing exercises with that. So a power writing is where you take a general statement and you support it with you follow it with two supporting statements. General statement followed by two supporting statements. And you could later expand it to 3 or 4. But in the beginning, it's a general statement followed by two supporting statements. Organized thought. So here's an example, a power writing example. The first general statement would be, a policeman is an important person in our city. That's the general statement. Here's the two supporting statements. He wears a uniform. He drives a car with bright lights. That could be it. For a young child, that could be it. You could add another supporting statement. He doesn't let cars drive too fast. See, that's power writing right there. You have your child stand up or sit up, and they give their general statement about something they learned, and then two supporting statements. Here's another one. The banana is my favorite fruit. Supporting statement number 1. It grows on trees with big leaves. Supporting statement number 2. When its peel turns yellow, it's ready to eat. And here's a third one. You can buy bananas at the grocery store. So that's power writing. That's organized thought. General statement, supporting statements. You start very simple when the kids are young, something they're interested in, and practice that. There has to be a practice. So as you're learning something, you can say, okay, we're going to do a power writing thing, and we're going to take a general statement and then give me two supporting facts. Whatever that is, it could be something in history, it could be something about a book that you read, it could be some kind of experience. If they go to karate lessons, they can make a general statement about karate and then two supporting things about the class. Whatever, power writing, organized thoughts, because that's what writing is. Okay, another thing about writing is developed by reading and listening to good literature. Now, I've done another video on read alouds and how important read alouds are, and they actually are part and parcel of in the development of good writing. Why is that? Well, with reading, especially read alouds, because read alouds, that's the parent or another person reading a book that's actually at a higher capacity level than the child. So your child is listening to something that he or she may not really have the capacity to read yet, but they can hear it, they can listen to it. But even personal reads where they're reading books themselves, the child gets exposure to good vocabulary. They get to see words, hear words that they wouldn't necessarily come up with themselves. So they're being introduced to vocabulary, which gives them an arsenal of descriptive words and images later when they start writing. Just recently, my 5-year-old grandson, he was talking about his little sister, who's 1, and he was talking, I don't remember pears, how much she likes pears. And he said, she devours pears. And I thought, he's heard that word, whether in reading or whatever, he's heard that word and he started using it. He likes it. He was putting his mouth around it and manipulating it. I know my other grandson, who's 2, my husband was showing him in a book a question mark and telling him question mark. Well, then later in another setting, in suddenly our little 2-year-old suddenly was talking about question marks, and he didn't even fully understand what a question mark is, but he had heard it and he liked the sound, and he was putting it into his vocabulary. And so that's really important, because your children don't just come with words, they have to be taught. And good literature is exposing them to good literature. They're accessing good language, good word structure. So that is writing right there, reading to them. That's not so hard, is it? Especially if it's a good book. We just had a bunch of friends finish reading Watership Down. Highly recommend it. Full of great images, gripping story for all ages, child to adult. My friend says she couldn't move on to the next chapter until her husband was around, because he had to hear the next part of the story. So he wouldn't let them proceed without her on her own schedule. It had to be on his schedule. So anyway, that's a great book that has language in it that her 5-year-old, he's not capable of reading himself, but he was enjoying it as he was listening. Okay, third thing for writing is memory work. So memory work, memorizing poetry, memorizing the Psalms from the Bible, scripture verses. It gives language, again, in the arsenal of their mind. They begin to access it as they memorize literary works that they themselves haven't developed. Suddenly those words become their own. There's nothing like memory work. Even as I memorize scripture, I find I have new words to use in other settings, words that I would never dreamed of using until I had kind of ingested that literature through memory work. And when the children are young, memorizing is super easy. So that's another writing skill. And then the last one is what's called copy work and dictation. And I think for those of us who are adults, we're like, why does this work? But you have to understand that the young learner is, and you want to watch my video about learning development, but the young learner is wired to access information and retain it. And so copy work and dictation are working with that developmental system. And so giving your child a paragraph that in the beginning, maybe it's just a couple sentences from literature. Again, it could be from a book that you're reading. It could be from a poem. It could be from scripture, where they are actually, or he or she, I should say, is copying it. And this would be at the point that there's some writing skill, physical writing skill in them, but they're copying it. That will help them see how the sentences are put together, where commas go, where periods go, how exclamation marks are used, as they're just copying literature. And then you can actually, like let's say in a schedule, their work schedule, their week schedule that is, they have to copy a passage maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you say, okay, on Thursday, I want you to put it away and I'm going to dictate it to you and I want you to write it down. And so that you're dictating it, and then we're going to see if they remember how the sentences flowed, where the period went, what's capitalized, where the commas are. So that is another way to work with your child on writing. And they are benefiting from how other masters of writing what they've done for them. So I think that was clear. So as they're activated with what other masters have created, that they are developed in their own skill set. Now, I've been equipping you here is primarily with younger children. As your kids kind of get into the middle school, high school level, they will need some formal training in writing. I highly recommend what comes from the Institute for Excellence in Writing, IEW. And they have a course called Structure and Style. You can actually get video and it can be taught. You can watch it. I have my kids learn to write from that. I'm telling you, it takes all the mystery out of writing. It takes all of it. It creates, it's writing with a structure. It's very doable and it gives you peace. And it's practice, 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 practice. It's not complicated at all. One thing I want to say is that good writing is not the same as having good grammar. Now, I'm all for good grammar, don't get me wrong. But studying good grammar doesn't necessarily make you a good writer. You know, we have editors who correct writers' grammar. So there are a lot of good writers out there that actually may not necessarily be good spellers or have good grammar. But they're creative, they have organized thoughts, they have great words, they have good skill with using words and forming images on paper. And grammar is easily corrected. Spelling is correctable, but good writing is a whole different thing. So I hope this helps. Hope this helps you relax. If you just start with the power writing, just start there. Organize thoughts. You could have a conversation at dinner. That'd be a fun game at dinner, around the table, doing power writing. It could be something about the food that you're eating. Or about Christmas time. Organize thoughts about Christmas time. So have fun with it. Practice it. Help your children develop those organized thoughts. It's really important that not only will they become good writers, they'll actually become good speakers. So I hope this helps, and I hope to be getting out other videos a little more quickly, and stay tuned. Alrighty. God bless. Bye-bye.